The Montreal Canadiens lines have changed with the departure of Jesperi Kotkaniemi on an offer sheet to Carolina Hurricanes and incoming Christian Dvorak from the Arizona Coyotes. Here's my final edition of the 2021-22 lineup. Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. Hey everybody. So I've already done a video on the lineup a couple weeks ago, but since the offer sheet to KK and him going to Carolina and the Habs trading for Christian Dvorak, well, there's a whole new kind of lineup. So here's my new lineup projections. And it's interesting. On line 2, I was pretty set on my line, and then I saw that interview with Dvorak. I believe it was yesterday. And something that he said in there was a question that was asked of him, and it made me change the lineup, and you'll see where, because I'll mention it in the video. Okay, so we're going to start off with line 1. Line 1, Nick Suzuki centering Tyler Toffoli on the left and Cole Caulfield on the right. On line 1, I think, you got to go with the chemistry that was last year between Toffoli, Nick Suzuki, and Cole Caulfield. There was definite chemistry there, and you can't argue about it between Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. And I think that this is going to be the first line. You've got, like I said, great chemistry between the three of them, and you've got a good balance of two guys that can go into the corners. I know you can argue Suzuki can't really, but I think Nick Suzuki can handle himself along the boards and in the corners, and Toffoli as well. And I think, they dig out the puck, find Caulfield in front. I just think this is a really great offensive line. In Nick Suzuki, you've got a solid two-way center. His offense is, I want to say burgeoning, but, he's in his third season. He was on pace last season for, I believe, 61 points in an 82-game season. But they played 56 games. I believe he had 41. I think this year, considering it's his third season, he's an gifted offensive player. You can't imagine that he's going to stagnate yet or, level out. So I expect another 10, 15 points from Nick this year. Not on the 41, but build on that 61 that was projected over an 82-game schedule. So I'm looking at 75 points for Nick. I think on the wing for Toffoli, he had 28 goals last year in 54 games. I'm not sure if he played a full schedule. That would have put him up around 50 goals for the season on an 82-game schedule. I don't expect those kind of numbers from him. He traditionally gets 21 to, I think his high was 31 in his career. So I'm going to put him in at the 26 goals, 30 assists, and 56 points. I think he's fully capable of that. Although if you look at his career record, his stats, you can see that I don't believe he gets over 50 points too many times. So he's usually in like the 24 goals, 20 assists kind of range. I think it's going to be a really good offensive line. You've got good chemistry there, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Toffoli to score. Too bad we don't play 10 games against Vancouver. That would be awesome. So I think Toffoli's capable of doing that. On Caulfield's side, it's his rookie season. I have actually already given prediction for Caulfield of 21 goals and I believe 30 assists for 51 points. I think he can improve on the goals a little bit in this setting with, one of the reasons is Christian Dvorak on the second line. I think by him being the second line center instead of Kotkaniemi, I think there's a lot more offense that's going to be produced there. I don't think teams can key on the first line and to stop the offense, because you got that second line and even the third line. You'll see what I'm talking about. So I think that's going to make a bit of a difference. And Caulfield, I'm being conservative. I think he can get 25 goals. I don't want to be one of those guys go, Caulfield's going to get 40, 50 goals. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. I think even 25 is on the upper limit in his rookie season. But I think he's capable of 55 points in his rookie season, and wouldn't that be awesome? Line 2. Christian Dvorak centering Jonathan Drouin on the left and Brendan Gallagher on the right. This line's got Christian Dvorak at center, and I originally had Mike Hoffman being his left winger. I thought that might be better, like Hoffman, kind of a pure goal scorer. But I saw the interview with Dvorak with all the Montreal reporters yesterday, and one of the questions was about having a puck-moving winger, a guy that can distribute a puck, and that would make, that's the kind of winger that he probably would thrive under. He said, he's fine either way, but he would like to have that, and I don't think Mike Hoffman is that guy, and I don't think, who's on the other side? I don't think Gallagher's that guy either. So I think that putting Jonathan Drouin on his wing actually makes a lot of sense. Listen, Drouin's not a goal scorer, but he is a puck-moving distributor of the... that makes sense. He is a puck mover, and he distributes the puck. You can tell by his assists. The guy can rack up the assists, and I think on a line with Dvorak, who was on pace in an 82-game season to get about 25 goals. So I think he can do that here with a winger like Drouin, and I think I'm going to put Drouin there. So it's Drouin, Dvorak, and Gallagher. For me, this is another line that is going to produce a lot of offense. It's another line that is solid two-way defensively. Both Dvorak and Gallagher can definitely handle themselves on the defensive side. Maybe Drouin's not, like on that first line where Caulfield's not the guy you're really looking for for the defensive side. You're not looking for that from Drouin, although he is capable. But this is another line that's going to give you great offense. Teams cannot focus on that first line to shut them down, or on the second line to shut them down, because the top six, you're going to get some points there. You can't shut everybody down. I think this is really going to be good going into the season to have two really solid offensive lines that are also centered by two very good two-way centers. So they're defensively responsible and hopefully won't get caught a lot. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great combination. So I think Drouin will be on the second line. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. I know a lot of people don't even want Drouin on the team, and I get that, but he is going to be on the team, and I think that's probably the best place to slot him in. But let me know in the comment section what you think. For line three, Jake Evans centering Mike Hoffman on the left and Josh Anderson on the right. So on line three, I wasn't really wanting to put Mike Hoffman there. I didn't think that would be the right place for him, but considering where I think Drouin's got to go. So Hoffman is going to play on third line. I know a lot of people think he'll go on the first line into Toffoli's spot, but I think the chemistry between Suzuki and Caulfield and Toffoli is really good. I don't know how it'll work out with Hoffman, so I don't think I can put him there. He's going to be centered by Evans. I think Jake Evans has a lot more offense in him than we kind of assume with the positions that he's played so far, or on the lines he's played so far. So I think that a third line centering spot for Evans is okay. I know a lot of people want to see Evans go on to the fourth line. But for me, I think Ryan Poehling is going to be in his first full season. I think it's a possibility anyway. With Montreal, I don't know that he's going to be on the third line right away. I think he's going to have to work his way up there and start on the fourth line. And I have heard that Ducharme has kind of got Evans penciled in for the third line already. So I think Evans will be the third line center. I think he can produce some offense. I've got him kind of low at, I think, 10, 25, 35 points. Playing with Hoffman, I think Hoffman's going to get a lot of his points on the power play. And Anderson on the other side, it gives him a lot of options. You've got that big power forward in Anderson. You got Evans, who's solid defensively, so it's another as their third center that's solid two-way center. Well, I'll say defensively. I don't know that Evans yet you could say is a solid two-way center. I don't know what offense he has in him. I know there's some there. I just don't know how much. I think that's one of the question marks. I think it's a good combination. You got a goal scorer in Hoffman on one side. You got Anderson, who's that power forward, so obviously can score. And then you got Evans in the center. that's got to distribute the puck. This is where the question mark on that line is for me. But I mean, this is I want to say it can be a defensive line. I don't know. Can you really say that with Mike Hoffman on the line? I don't know. But it'll be a line that can put up points. Any line that's got Hoffman on it's got to be able to. It's got to be a scoring threat. And I think it can play a little defense with Anderson and Evans. So I think it gives you 3 solid lines that can, that have a defensive aspect to them. So you got offense and the defensive side. I don't know if you're going to get caught too much, right? So hopefully that'll keep the goals against down. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the third line because I can't see Hoffman playing on the fourth line. And I think Drouin would be the best bet for Dvorak on his left wing. So I think it's a question of does Toffoli play on the third line or is it Hoffman? All right, that brings us to line number 4. Line 4. Ryan Poehling centering Artturi Lehkonen on the left and Joel Armia on the right. So line number 4, I've got Lehkonen. I've got him centered by... I got Poehling because I think Poehling's got a good shot. I don't know. It's going to be either Poehling or Paquette, or they're going to bring somebody else in. But in Mark Bergevin's press conference yesterday, he was asked about that, and he says that there will not be any... He doesn't see there being any more moves made before the season starts. I mean, basically, they have no cap room, so they'd have to move somebody out to bring somebody in, and I guess he doesn't have anything in the works. So, line 4, I'm going to call Poehling as the center. And so I think you got Lehkonen over there. I think Lehkonen, you got to have Lehkonen in the lineup. People are saying Perreault, have Lehkonen sitting. I don't think you sit Lehkonen. If you want to win games, yeah, you need scoring, but you also need players like Lehkonen. And teams that win the cup, they all have a guy like Lehkonen or more than one. So you need that kind of guy. And I think he'll be in the lineup. I don't think Perreault. I think Perreault's the kind of guy that is going to come in if there's an injury or someone's really playing bad on the wing. I think that's it. I don't think Perreault's going to start the season. Kind of like Perry last year. Perry didn't start. Now, that was a financial thing, and I get that. But I think it's going to be kind of like that, where Perreault's going to come in if there's an injury or something like that. So Lehkonen is a key here, and I think that's the spot. I don't see him being ahead of anybody else on the left side. On the right side, you got Joel Armia. Again, Joel Armia is the kind of guy that can play anywhere in the lineup. I mean, as can Lehkonen, proof by the fact that in the finals last year, he did play on... They brought him up to the first line for a game or two, or more than that. So Armia is one of those guys, and the thing is, is he ahead of Caulfield, Gallagher, or Anderson? I don't think so. So he's going to play on the fourth line, where he did a great job of it in the playoffs last year with Perry and Stahl. So I don't think there's a problem there. It's going to limit his point production, but he's still a guy that, he doesn't do this every game, and he doesn't, like, once every 10 games. He'll have that amazing game where he gets 2 goals and an assist or something like that. So I think he can pop, 15 goals, 10 assists. I think that's fair. Might be a little on the underside. I don't know, but on the fourth line, I don't see him getting much more than that. For Poehling in his first full season as a center, I think 10 goals, 20 assists, kind of because he's unknown for me what he could get, so I'm going to it's kind of generic. But I don't see why he couldn't put up 30 points on the fourth line centering that. I mean, maybe it's a little more than he's going to get, like maybe it's going to be 25 points, but I'm going to see him in that kind of range. And Lehkonen, I've got him at 12 goals, 15 assists, 27 points. It's kind of what he got last year, I think. I should have checked on that, obviously. But I think 12 goals for Lehkonen is fair. I think this is going to be a team that scores more than last year. So there's going to be a little bit more offense there for everybody, or goals that are there for them to get. The opportunities will be there. So yeah, I think that's the fourth line. Defense. All right, first pairing D. Defense pairing number 1. Joel Edmondson on the left, Jeff Petrie on the right. I think it's obvious it's going to be Edmondson and Petrie. Unless somebody gets injured, I don't see how it would be anybody else. Edmondson's capable of putting up some numbers. The problem for me on the D is where's the offense going to come from besides Petrie? I don't think there's a lot there. I think you're going to miss what Weber did put up when he was healthy. Anyway. So yeah, I think you're going to see typical of Petrie. I think in the last 4 seasons, Petrie's basically, you can pencil him in for 40 plus points. So in a full season, obviously not in 56 games, but I mean, I think he'll hit that with 45. I think Edmondson can, I guess I was talking about Edmondson first. Yeah, he's capable of putting up some numbers. He's going to be on the first pairing. The opportunities are going to be there more than they were last year. And I think, yeah, the 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points. I think that he can hit that playing first pairing here. He's going to get a lot of ice time. And yeah, he's the stay-at-home guy, but he can surprise sometimes with some offense. So there you go. Second pairing. Defense pairing number 2. Ben Sherratt on the left, David Savard on the right. I think they're going to start out with Sherratt, Savard. I don't know that that's optimal for me anyway. I would rather see a puck mover like Romanov go in there. But I don't think in Romanov's second season, I don't know that they're going to put him on the second pairing. I really don't. I have this feeling they're not. So I just think it's going to be Sherratt and Savard. Yeah, even though I don't know that's the optimal thing, I think that's where they're going to go. So you got Sherratt and Savard, guys that don't put up a lot of points. Sherratt, more capable, I think, on the offense than Savard is. And yeah, I wonder if Savard's capable of putting up some more numbers now. He put up only 6 points last year, I think 11 the year before. He's not a guy that's going to put up big numbers. So I worry on the defense where the offense is going to come from. Line 3. Defense pairing number 3. Brett Kulak on the left, Alex Romanov on the right. I know Chris Weidman's out there. A lot of people have Chris Weidman on the right, and they want to see Romanov on the left. But Romanov is listed as a right side or left side defenseman, so he can play both sides. And I think he's going to be playing on the other side this year. I would like to see Kulak over Weidman. Weidman's a little bit of an unknown. Depends on what he does in training camp. I know he did well in the KHL last season, but I don't know if that transfers necessarily to the NHL. So I think it's going to end up with Kulak. I like Kulak. I think Kulak can move the puck a bit. I think Kulak does have some promise to be a good, solid third-pairing defenseman. I know he makes some mistakes sometimes, but I mean, he's still young, and who doesn't make mistakes, right? But I saw what kind of production Weidman had when he was with when he was in the NHL. It's not an offensive defenseman, that's for sure. So it's kind of an unknown for me. But I think he'll be the 7th defenseman. So I think it'll be Kulak and Romanov. I think Romanov should have a pretty good season, even though third pairing. I think he'll play a little bit on the power play, and I think he'll show whether he can put up a little bit of offense, you know. I don't think it'll be great, but I think he'll maybe surprise a little bit on the offensive side this year. At least I hope so, because he hasn't really shown that so far in his career, either in the KHL or here, that he's going to produce a lot of offense. But I think he's got more offense in him than people might think. And I hope he starts showing it this season. Because, you know, if he can produce some numbers, it'll move him up in the lineup. And I'd like to see him on the second line with Savard. So moving the puck, having that option. Montreal really needs another puck-moving defenseman. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know if we're going to acquire one during the season. But they do need one. So I think it's weird that, I'm the one making this lineup. I don't know if it's what's going to actually happen, but I think it would be kind of weird that you'd have Kulak and Romanov together and that two guys that can move the puck, and then you got a second pairing where basically two guys that don't move the puck. Sherratt a bit, but I don't think Savard's a puck mover at all. So anyway, we'll see how that works out. Goalies. Carey Price, starter. Jake Allen, backup. Duh. So for the goalies, I think obviously, I don't think anyone's thinking that it's not going to be Carey Price first. I know he's coming off some injuries, so it's a question mark whether he'll be ready to be the starter once the season opens right away. But I don't think it'll take long if he misses any time. So it's definitely going to be Carey Price as the starter. Probably getting, I'm going to say about 60% of the starts, somewhere in that area. And then you got Jake Allen, great backup, and I think it's a great combo. I think in the, you know, if one of them does get hurt, you got Caden Primo down in the minors, who's kind of, I don't know that he's ready yet to take a regular role, but as a fill-in, I think it's possible. And then, I mean, it's basically nobody else there. Michael McNiven, unproven. But I mean, you have Price, Allen, and then Primo to back them up. I think that's pretty good. I don't know if Montreal will be looking to bring in another goalie now that can't remember his name is gone. Charlie Lindgren. So, anyways, that's the situation there. But it's definitely Price is the starter, and I think he'll get about 60% of the starts. The extra forwards and defensemen. As for the extras, the only one in there that I think for the forwards that you might question me on is Alex Belzile. But I think they'll have Belzile in there because, you know, literally, do you want one of the young kids' prospects to be up and sitting around in the press box and not playing? I don't think so. So if you're going to carry a guy like that, you're going to carry Belzile. You're going to have Perreault, obviously, there. And then Paul Byron, who is out for the first 2-3 months. So he's on injured reserve. I don't know if he'll be LTIR or not, but Byron will be out for a while. So nothing to, you know, there's nowhere to consider him in the lineup until he gets back. And then on the defensive side, we got Chris Weidman, who I said. I think Xavier Ouellet, who's the captain of the Rocket, got to be an option there for them. He's been with the team for a while. He has some experience. Not great. He's not going to move the needle, but, you know, he can give you adequate time for a game or two at a time. I also do think that Caden Gooley and Matthias Norlinder are going to surprise in the training camp. I think Norlinder might be the surprise of camp. I think it's going to earn him a spot in Laval. And I think the same thing for Gooley. I think Gooley's going to play in Laval. I think both of them are going to see a game or two with Montreal to give them a cup of coffee, see what they look like in the NHL. And I think that's about it. But I think they're two of the defense of the future. And I think both of them will end up in Laval after having really good training camps, because that's what I'm expecting. So there you go. That's my lineup projection as my dog goes crazy because there's another dog around. I want to thank everybody for watching. See you next video. Bye, everybody. So on line 3, I have no idea. Got the paper here. Don't know. Okay, blooper out of the way. Thanks for watching. Check out this video.